So this is the internal monologue project by Michelle Bestman, Astrid Aparicio Sandoval, and Kenneth Kraufmull. So the picture we selected is this one taken by the Associated Press in 2019 of immigrants at the US and Mexico border. The context for this picture is that this picture was taken after the policy change done by President Trump in 2019, in which the policy became to deny any person seeking asylum in the United States without pre-approval. So this resulted in many immigrants from South Central America and Mexico to be able to enter the United States, and created a humanitarian crisis as they were amassed and put into holding facilities and then deported to their home countries. We selected this photo because we believe that the policies in 2019 are historical changes that will be discussed by government officials, humanitarians, political parties, and anybody involved in the event. And this photo also represents multiple perspectives of the diverse groups of people that are involved in the situation, ranging from the immigrants themselves coming from different countries with different stories, to all the people that are involved in enforcing the US laws and creating them. So for our first monologue, we selected the border agent. So he is what represents the United States Customs and Border Protection Agency. So as the first individual for our monologue, we considered that the man is just doing the job that he got hired to do. So that would be to carry out the orders given by the government, whatever policy is in place at that time. So with that in mind, he probably views immigration as just a job that he will need to process every individual in the photo, and he considers it more paperwork needed to be completed instead of viewing the immigrants as people. It's just paperwork, a job that I need to do at the end of each day. I need to accomplish this amount of paperwork done. So here is a monologue of the border agent. So the implications for this perspective is, again, that he views this as a job. So from a historical point of view, it's more of a soldier carrying out orders provided by the government. He has very little say in what goes on. So he views the immigrants not as humans or people, but as a job and paperwork that he needs to complete. Now, the next monologue we selected is these two girls from the photo who sit close to each other. And the story that we created for these girls is that they were born in Guatemala and that their father was involved in politics. So according to the Washington Office on Latin America, the political situation in Guatemala is unstable, and people who speak out against their government or political reformers are often targeted. So the story that we selected is that their father was arrested for either trying to change the laws in their country or speaking out against leaders, and that their mother decided to send them to the United States to protect them from the violence and possible harm that they might suffer back in their country. So here is a monologue about the two sisters. So the implications for this monologue is that this represents people who are seeking political asylum, while in the United States, political leaders um, and other people within the country are able to speak out against what they consider to be unjust or dissatisfaction. In other countries, political opponents or people who speak out against their government can be imprisoned or harm can come to themselves or their families. So that is what we decided for the two sisters. And then the last monologue we selected is about the single child. And the single boy is sitting around on the ground with his arms around his knees. And the story that we created is that he comes from a poor Mexican family, and his family chose him to send to the United States so he could have a better life because of the nature of how he is sitting on the ground. He looks to be of a very young age, so that went into the consideration that he would be very scared and confused about what is going on around him. So here is the monologue of the single child. So his internal monologue would be, as I look around at all the scared, hungry, alone, and frightened children and people around me, I can't help but wonder, what am I even doing here? My family said that this trip would be good, that I would finally be safe, that I wouldn't have to be worried about getting shot walking down the street. However, looking at the men in fancy clothes with weapons, speaking a language I don't understand, and being stuck here with no end in sight, I can't help but think that my family was wrong. This is worse than where I was living. At least in Mexico, I had my family. Maybe if I squat down as small as possible, nobody will notice me. Nobody will realize I'm here. No harm will come my way. I could easily disappear and pretend I am not here. Anywhere but here. So the implications for this child is that he is fleeing poverty and violence back in his home country, and family are sending him because they believe that in the United States they will have a better life. Um, so because he is so young, he doesn't understand what is going on, and that would cause so much fear and confusion for him. Now, this assignment made us think about all the different perspectives and possible things that could happen to the people involved in the picture, and it would be of great use in the classroom setting because it would help build students' empathy towards other people and consider the choices that they made and the reasons why they did the things that they did at the time. And here is our source. Thank you.